from. Look in the mirror, Chad. Okay, I've tried to avoid this for as long as I can, but here is some local lefties losing it content. Senator Lydia Thorpe launching into an unhinged tirade against King Charles. Now, this Lefties Losing It segment gets millions of views every week around the world. We have a massive audience overseas, and they'll be shocked to learn that Lydia Thorpe, yes, the screaming banshee just saw, is a senator in the Australian Parliament.
I will not stand for racism in my workplace.
You are not helping the situation.
And the Prime Minister knows exactly what he's doing. He wants the fascists to come out and get me. So where is my support? Of you?
Finally, here is Senator Lydia Thorpe doing some of her best work outside a strip club in Melbourne. This was just last year.
What I say, you know what I'm saying to you? You know what I'm saying to you? And you, a black man that stands with a one like that, you can look at
Someone's in Parliament like you.
I've been oppressed all that life in this country, and you let me go on and you have not.
She seems like a good time. But sadly, Senator Lydia Thorpe received a lifetime ban from that particular establishment. Maxine's Gentlemen's Club in Brunswick will no longer allow her entry. Sad. Okay, let's go back to laughing at lefties losing it overseas. Here is a racist lefty in America. You know how she's voting.
What's more dangerous, straight white conservative men or axe murderers?
A straight white conservative man.
Why is he more dangerous?
Because they're capable of doing anything. They're crazy.
What makes them crazy?
They're white.
You don't think that's racist at all?
No.
And here is another Kamala, because she thinks Donald Trump will take her birth.
If you were to vote for anybody in 2024, who is it going to be?
Kamala Harris. But because I like having rights.
Having rights.
I'm gay, and I enjoy being able to marry who I want, be open about that at work. I'm also a woman. I take birth control. I like being able to do that.
Just exactly what rights did a gay woman lose under Donald Trump's administration? And why would he want her to stop taking birth control? She's a lesbian. Why is she taking birth control? The whole thing is confusing me. Now, this lady has really isolated the most important thing in this campaign. You better listen to her, you pack of sexist pigs.
Regardless of who you're voting for, stop referring to our presidential candidate as just Kamala. It's Kamala Harris. We do not talk about the other person running and say Donald, right? We don't just say Donald. Maybe we should. Maybe we should start calling him Donnie. But up until this point, people have only felt comfortable referring to women in power by just their first names because they do not respect women in power. They did the same exact thing to Clinton. So if you have an ounce of feminism in your body, at the very least, say Kamala Harris.
Oh dear, doesn't it just fill you with warmth and confidence knowing that folks like that vote? Here is a couple wanting to send conservatives to re-education camp. Just feel the tolerance and empathy here.
We're trying to send conservatives to re-education camps to be more accepting.
Yeah.
You want to sign that? All right. So you would support taking their rights away and sending them to the camps forcefully? 100%.
Yeah, but they're trying to do it to us, so like...
Would you be in support of banning conservatives from voting?
I thought everyone has a right to vote.
Oh, you're taking the rights away to a re-education camp.
That is true.
Now, this next clip may have a little creative input. We will check in with the lip readers on what was actually said, but I like to think it was something like this.
So is Kamala doing okay?
No. She's down, Joe. Now we're basically... Trump is killing us at the polls, so yes, we're going to lose Joe.
Damn it. Wait. What if I come back to run again?
As candidate,
Yeah.
well, no,
Come
Joe,
on, man.
you're not
Just
going
give it
back
another
yet.
shot.
Let's let it all play out. Okay, we'll talk later, Joe.
Okay.
Women looking fine up in here.
Gosh, the Democrats are getting desperate. They're conjuring up more fake news about Hitler, the military, and sending out more celebrities.
I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions. And I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known. I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld.
Just inspiring stuff there from Eminem. You probably didn't know it was him because you can see his face. Yeah, the most anti to protect our freedoms. Well done, Eminem. And his entire speech went for about a minute. I don't know why he even bothered to show up, but it certainly got Barack excited. Oh gosh, I should have given you a cringe warning before that clip. I do apologize. As a big fan of Eminem, really? Don't the Democrats tell us words are violence and misogynistic, violent lyrics about women are unacceptable? But they're happy with this.
I don't want to hear no woman, but this chick's got it coming. Someone better get this before she gets kicked in the stomach.
Talk about safety and security. Well, when we do that, let's also always remember the violence against women.
You don't like it, then kill off. Every last woman on earth I'll kill off, but I still wouldn't. I'm sick of this. Sick of nagging voices, watching how I'm watching this shit.
Women will endure almost any abuse.
I'm tired of hoes who live to the bed, set up the camera, lights on the left, so please that tripod.
You know what? I used to love me some Eminem too before he became so lame that he became a parody of himself, and not even a funny parody like this. Lyrics and make them Democrat friendly. Let's hear more from the Hangover Gang doing Eminem. You want to know why they're getting increasingly desperate with all this fake Hitler news and the celebrity endorsement? It's because they're losing.
Yo, Kamala, Tim, come up here for this one. Two idiots going around me outside, round me outside, round me outside.
As for the woman herself, the VP is again engaging in the most reckless, inflammatory rhetoric about President Donald Trump, claiming that the most pro-Israel president we've seen, the man who has a daughter and grandchildren who are Jewish, is some Hitler-admiring, military-hating threat to democracy who's going to use the military to go after anyone critical of him.
He would use the United States military to go after American citizens. And let's be clear about who he considers to be the enemy from within. Anyone who refuses to bend a knee or dares to criticize him would qualify in his mind as the enemy.
Get out of here, you fucking
Like
rat!
judges, like journalists, like nonpartisan election officials. It is deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and hundreds of thousands of Americans. All of this is further evidence for the American people of who Donald Trump really is.
Right, and it shows is Kamala Harris earlier today on CNN saying she thinks Donald Trump is a fascist.
I go crazy. Yeah.
Yes, I do. And I also believe that the people who know him best on this subject should be trusted.
Absolutely disgusting antics there. The people who know him best, what, the handful of miscreants that were sacked? Is that what you were just talking about? And he just line here is Green Pierre also doing her best to possibly incite the next leftist nutter to try to assassinate the election and to be praising Adolf Hitler. Do you agree President Biden believes that Donald Trump is a fascist?
I mean, yes. What he said himself. The former president said he's going to be a dictator on day one.
You know, the Democrats and VP Harris seem to be declaring a joy these days. In fact, Kamala Harris is reminding me of someone.
Sick and tired of the negative.
Oh dear, let's hear from a woman who is trying to inject some joy, some frivolity into Kamala's rally, but all she ends up doing is treating the crowd like they're simpletons. This is how you talk to toddlers, not adults.
If you know it, I'm gonna sing it. Hey, that's really good. Okay, let's try something different. That's 3 syllables, right? I've got another word with 3 syllables. La. You wanna try it? All right, let's go.
Oh dear, I could not stand that. I would lose my mind having to listen to that for any longer than I just heard. Now let's go to MSNBC and watch what happens when a panelist says something actually truthful about the economy. Watch the panic and the gaslighting that followed.
The contrast could not be more stark. Yes, we have a dismal economy, but we are also facing the prospect of fascism. So the economy isn't even that dismal, and things are rebounding. But everyone is talking about the economy, but in fact, we are actually facing the real premise and specter of fascism. I think on the economy, too, all the data suggests that that's not the case, but there's a feels issues with the economy. The prices feel expensive. People feel bad about it. And even if they don't feel bad about their personal economy, they feel bad or worried about their kids or their neighbors or others. And yes, that is throughout history, Angela, a right climate for an autocrat, which is exactly what Project 2025 ushers in.
It just feels expensive, folks. The economy's great. You're not really paying to pay your bills. It's just a vibe. It's the feels. But MSNBC got a shock when they spoke to Arab Americans about who they're backing. No one put up their hands for Kamala.
Who's voting for Kamala Harris? Absolutely not. No.
There's nothing she can do or say for us to change our minds.
And here's an unhinged academic saying men who don't vote for Kamala must be sexist and should be shocked.
There are going to be some males in our society that will refuse to vote for a particular female president because they don't think females are smart enough to be president. They clearly don't understand the way the world works. Did I say that? Scratch that from the recording. I don't want the deans hearing that I said that.
And that's it from me. I'll see you Sunday morning for Outsiders. Good night. Cameras to allow people to monitor the Transportation Center themselves.
It is easy and hard to cheat.
Knowing that the misinformation surrounding voter fraud could be playing into the hands of our adversaries.
There are a lot of bad people out there that want to just kind of get us fighting amongst ourselves. We all do. We're going to China, Iran, we're going to list them.
The answer is whether isolated or not, have gotten quite a bit of news coverage this election. Still, a recent research poll found 73% of voters are saying that they are very confident the elections will be done well. In Washington, I'm Christine Fazan. Our continues in election 2024 to look at the electoral college and what happens
Moving the
They're clicking 53-day-long strike. The union said rank-and-file members of the 59 decided to approve that deal. It includes a pay raise of more than 33% over 4 years and a relocation bonus. That's pension plan that was started in 2014 from the previous labor deal. Workers were set to return to work on Wednesday. We are back in 2 minutes. Morning, 15 minutes past the hour now. This morning we are announcing the latest out of the Middle East as the IDF has tightened its state of alert ahead of an anticipated attack by Iran or other proxies in Syria, Yemen, or Iraq is what intelligence suggested. That strike could come ahead or within the days of the U.S. presidential election. At the same time, the Army has confirmed the soldier who was injured during last summer's Gaza mission is now dead. Sergeant Quadarius Stanley was one of 3 soldiers injured during the Gaza Cure mission. He passed away on October 31st. He was just 23 years old. The Biden administration's temporary cure had sought to facilitate aid into Gaza at approximately $230 million and delivered significantly less aid than it anticipated or as promised. That weather and miscalculations had been one of those contributing factors for the mission's failure, though the military considered it a success.
As we know, the polls suggest the results are going to be close, and that could trigger a recount in 7 swing states. The National News Desk's Angela Brown joining us now with more on this. Good morning to you, Angela. We've been down this road before. We absolutely have, Dan. So in 2020, we all remember this. We saw a number of recounts. So what could trigger a recount? The votes have to be basically within a certain margin. So this morning, what we're doing here at TNG, we are going through the recount threshold of swing states that could actually decide the election. Let's start with Pennsylvania. That state will automatically trigger a recount if the margin between 2 candidates is within 0.5 percentage points. Now, but 3 voters can also request a recount in specific precincts if they are caught. So expect that to happen in Pennsylvania. Michigan law calls for an automatic recount if the margin of victory in a race is 2,000 votes or fewer. While in Georgia, a candidate can request a recount if the margin of the race is within 0.5 percentage points of the law. It's also kind of similar in Arizona as well. However, the state automatically requires a recount if the race is decided by a margin of 0.5 percentage points. Now, we talked to a political expert about where we can expect to see these recounts.
Probably Wisconsin. I think that is very likely. Michigan, Pennsylvania. If I was going to rank which one would be most likely, it would be Pennsylvania.
And we're going to hear more from Justin coming up a little bit later on the show. Now, you may remember there were recounts after the 2020 presidential election. Once again, in Georgia, there were 3 recounts. It was confirmed after 3 recounts, depending on who won that state. But in Arizona, there was an audit led by the Republicans in that case That all the stuff you can find not only in one state, but actually in both regions. Angela, thank you. Our channel reporters monitoring polling places all across the country. Polls open at 5 a.m. Eastern in some polling precincts in Vermont, at 6 a.m. Just 18 minutes ago, right here on the East Coast, Connecticut, Kentucky, Maine, New Jersey, New York, Virginia, polls open in those states. And the National News Desk. Savannah Wood joins us live from the state of Wisconsin in Appleton. Savannah, good morning to you. You guys already have 2 weeks of early in-person voting. And what time the polls open there, and how's it looking so far this morning?
Good morning. Polls open at 7 a.m. this morning. The Wisconsin Elections Commission says nearly 950,000 people in Wisconsin cast a ballot during in-person absentee voting this election cycle. Officials say it could even be a record-breaking number. The race for president is expected to be a close one in the state, according to the most recent Marquette University Law School poll. It finds Vice President Kamala Harris leading President Donald Trump 50% to 49% among likely voters. This is within the poll's margin of error. Marquette University Law School did 7 polls this year, all focused on the presidential race. Each one representing a mark on merit. Wisconsin voters also have a tightly contested race for U.S. Senate between incumbent Democrat Senator Tammy Baldwin and Republican challenger Eric Humke. In the Senate race, Baldwin holds the edge over Humke, 51 to 49%. Polls open here at 7 a.m. here in Wisconsin, and they clear away. We're waiting around with all the action. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
7 a.m. Central Time here in Wisconsin. We'll be keeping a close eye on it. Both presidential candidates hope to get the 270 electoral college votes. That's one of the meetings from the White House. Each state, though, as we know, brings a different total. The National News Desk. Janae Bowman joins us to break down these numbers right now. Good morning, Janae.
Good morning, Dan. 7 states lost electoral votes and 6 states gained. Now let's have a schoolhouse rock moment and get back to the basics. The electoral college is 538 electoral votes. Now the number of electoral votes the state has is the number of their U.S. House of Representatives members plus their 2 senators. Now the number of House members is determined by the latest census. California, Illinois, New York, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia all lost their electoral votes. Those are all in orange. The states in blue, Florida, Montana, North Carolina, Colorado, and Oregon, all gained 1 electoral vote. Texas added 2. Now, of course, supporters on both sides of the aisle here in Canada will get the 270 electoral votes needed to win.
There's a chance that if there's 1 or 2 states that don't have their count done because they can't figure out how to get it done on election day, there's still going to be an electoral college victory for President Trump on Tuesday night. Is there a future where that have presidential elections decided in 7 states? And I think when that happens, again, we can come together and find that common ground and use common sense approaches. But with that said, I believe Kamala Harris is the candidate for common ground. Oh, of course.
Now, Washington, D.C. has 3 electors. The Electoral College is not popular. According to Pew, 63% of Americans prefer to see the winner of the presidential election be the person who wins most votes.
So this past year, right now coming up, there are some major last-minute endorsements rolling in this morning on presidential candidates, but will they push those last-minute undecided voters one way or the other? The big names coming up next. Congratulations to the win here, joining us possibly the most extensive collection of presidential endorsements in American history. The host of the biggest and most popular podcast in the world joining that list. Joe Rogan. He said this in promoting his latest episode with Elon Musk. The message on X here behind me, Elon Musk makes what he thinks is the most compelling case for Trump that you'll hear. And he said, I agree with him. I've been stepping away for the record. Yes, that is an endorsement of Trump. Also, really appreciate the talk. Megyn Kelly giving a speech at his rally last night in Pittsburgh, which you're seeing part of that video right there on the screen. And joining on that list, a list of celebrities, 98-year-old Dick Van Dyke endorsing Harris with a YouTube video and a simple caption of vote. Jan.
Are signs that the illegal migrant crisis is growing along the northern border as well. Customs and Border Protection reports they broke records this past fiscal year, apprehending more than 198,000 illegal migrants just along Vermont, New York, and New Hampshire. And just over 189,000 in the same area the previous year. The FBI says it stopped a man who was planning to attack Nashville's power grid. Agents arrested 24-year-old Skylar Felipe, who faces charges of attempting to use a weapon of mass destruction today, plus a closer look at down-ballot races that could impact control of Congress. First up, here's a look at America's news and weather.
Meteorologist Charlie Preston with the Northeast. It is going to be a mild election day in the Northeast. Look at these temperatures this afternoon surging into the 60s and 70s. A weak front moving through overnight. Any leftover clouds will start to break up. This is 2:30 in the afternoon today. There's a lack of clouds. It should be a beautiful sunny afternoon and a mild afternoon. The second front moves through on Wednesday. There's a chance for a shower that day, but it stays warm and windy with highs again in the 70s. Enjoy. I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabili. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Things are going to start out with just a few clouds on your election day, but sunshine towards your afternoon, staying nice and dry through your Wednesday most likely. But there's a front approaching that will likely give us a small chance for some showers, but not until late Wednesday night into Thursday. Temperatures will be warming up, 70s practically everywhere except for the mountains, and will be even warmer coming Wednesday, with temperatures possibly reaching as warm as 80 degrees.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Charlotte Pearl. High temperatures this afternoon, kind of all across the board. We are going to be in the upper 70s in the northern part of the area, 60s in Asheville, also 60s in Little Rock, as because the frontal boundary will be moving across the area, also increasing the potential for active and severe weather, especially in the western portion of the area throughout your Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday early morning. Definitely a day you want to stay weather aware.
Morning, very good. Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Elizabeth Michael for Election Day today. We do have some rain moving its way across the Midwest here. That will continue moving its way into the Ohio Valley for your Wednesday tomorrow and cooling down behind that. A lot of high temperatures in the 50s on Wednesday. By the time we get to your Midwest, the temperatures still staying cool. A lot of 50s and 60s.
Here's a look at the regional weather. Starting off really cool this morning. Number one, Midland, back over to El Paso, into the 40s and 30s. Everybody else sitting into the 60s. Some leftover showers will push through South Texas and move through into Louisiana during the day. Cooler, drier air filters in, and that means temperatures will be much cooler on day two. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia, and that's a look at your regional weather.
Everybody, and a good Tuesday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Skies are looking brighter for Election Day around Puget Sound and the Willamette Valley as the sun bounces back for Seattle and Portland after a really stormy start to the work week on Monday. Vegas at 69, just 29 today out of Jackson Hole, and it's because of this weather maker. Big area of low pressure pushing over the Bitterroots and into the Rockies and Continental Divide for heavy snow throughout the day. And that's the scene from here.
killer for real, gorilla, still a for real, my man. Them chickens a killer for real, gorilla, still a for real, illa, for real. Take key, I'm gonna never go forward, man. You're gonna sing cause I got the best floating. Fentanyl going through town, gonna ruin everything. Going down, gonna kill my buddies, gonna kill my friends. That's fentanyl, man. It ain't the real shit. It's a bad thing. Killing everybody that it meets. Used to drug dealers didn't try to kill their customers. An opiate addict is a customer for life. Why they want to kill their customers? That don't make no sense. There's so much more going on than we know.
How do we make you happy? You say he's a fascist. How is he a fascist?
I stand up for fascism.
So I think this whole process is
You support a black woman that supports white.
Two Indians walk into a bar. Welcome back to Life, where every Sunday I show a few highlights of the idiocracy that is modern day society. Please consider hitting that like button, and if you haven't already, smash subscribe, click the bell, and select all notifications so you don't miss future episodes. We got some good memes and some idiocracy news this week, so let's get into it. Magazine ad from 1996. They say in 30 years, a burger and fries could cost $16. A vacation, $4,500. And a basic car, $65,000. No problem. You'll eat in. You won't drive, and you won't go anywhere. In less than 30 years, there's more and more homeless people every day. White woman gives birth to a black baby and accuses her husband of having it with a black girl. Only question I'd like to know is she really that stupid? Or did she just think that her husband was that stupid? Where the woke lived before the 70s. Rare footage of a liberal who has been exposed to the facts. Where do you show up to the club in the same dress as your dad? Elderly woman accused of training her 65 cats
Hey!
from neighbors. If you can train a cat to do even just one thing that you want it to do, you got some real skills, let alone to train 65 of them. Eat the rich. The problem with this world is the 1% and the ruling class. Taylor Swift is different. She speaks for us. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. Frederick Nietzsche. And this is very true. When you have zero corruption, because you can call it lobbying. The world needs more tackle boxes and less Xboxes. Yeah, and pretty soon you're going to need it just to have something to eat. We all know that person who could really use it.
And then he says that the news network that is most critical of him should be taken off the air. This is not a reach. I can go back and talk about Nazi Germany, and I do it without any concerns whatsoever. And if people can't start drawing the parallels, well, you're just stupid, or you have your head in the sand, or you're one of them.
Many hours later.
Last Thursday, we expressed our own concerns on this broadcast and even said we would appreciate the opportunity to speak with the president-elect himself. On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
The triumph is complete. Our enemies have not just been vanquished, they are being forced to go And no, I'm not talking about the rather strange propensity woke leftists have of videoing their own meltdowns and then sharing them with the world. No. I'm talking about MSNBC executives forcing Joe and Mika to kiss the ring of number 47 himself. We're going to take a look at the humiliating fallout from that meeting at Mar-a-Lago, why it happened in the first place, and what it all means for the fledgling future of the ultra-woke MSNBC. You know, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patriot professor, basking in the glow of the dawn of the new golden age that you made happen, and we're not going to want to miss a second of it. So if you want a front row seat on all the great and glorious things that are happening as a result of what you did on November 5th, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button before we continue to feast on the spoils of victory. Let's give a huge shout out to one of our sponsors who make these videos possible, and that's Liver Health Formula. Now, if you're one of 100 the best decisions I've ever made. So now it's your turn. Click on that link at work. Every single one. .com/Curly and claim your free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Curly. As many of you know, MSNBC has been suffering from a ratings apocalypse ever since the election. Every single show on the network, every single one is seeing their ratings nosedive. Glenn Greenwald is noting that their primetime shows can't even garner 75,000 viewers watching in the key demographic of 18 to 54 years. This is an absolute ratings bloodbath. And so, reversing course here, Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough have been, in the words of Outkick, crawling back to Trump on their hands and knees after spending the last 4 years calling him Hitler and his supporters fascists. And just in case that opening montage didn't get the point across, take a look at what Mika was saying literally 2 weeks ago.
As important as Trump's fascism is, and is the lead story every day, his posing up to dictators, his obsession with Hitler that has now come out, what he has said about our veterans, and what he wants to do with the military against his political adversaries is huge news. This is the future that we're looking at in the next Trump term, if there is one. But this is what voters know right now, that he is killing us. I'm talking about us women. He's killing us.
So there you have it. Trump is Hitler. Trump's a fascist. We're fascists. We all represent the end of our democracy, and he is already engaged. Trump is already engaged in a mass genocide of women across the nation. He is killing us. He is killing us. That is the kind of unhinged, hysterical absurdity that MSNBC's dwindling audience was treated to 24/7 in the lead up to this election. But now? Now?
As for us, we also let him know that we will continue to speak truth to power and push back hard when called for, as we have with all presidents.
Don't be mistaken. We're not here to defend or normalize Donald Trump. We're here to report on him.
I searched for a way to respond appropriately, and I called on my 10 years as a litigator in addition to my now 20 as a journalist, and I think I found the perfect phrase: go yourselves. Go yourselves, you dishonest jokes of faux journalists. What an absurd farce that was, Glenn. Which one was insincere? He's Hitler? Or now we're going to speak truth to power and find a way of speaking to and working with Donald Trump? Which one was a lie?
Yeah, I have to say, Joe and Micah's faux apology tour ain't fooling anyone, literally. No one. Here's the great Greg Gutfeld bringing his usual fire.
Buddy, I feel like this is a charity that I can greet this reversal with the best intentions. They've seen the light, they've changed their minds. Remember, J.D. Vance had negative views on Donald Trump, and now he's his VP. So there is chance for redemption, and it should. Be welcome, and the Republican Party has evolved because of this. Well, the people who never thought they were going to be in the Republican Party, Musk, RFK, Trump, Rogan.
You know what I'm gonna do when Kamala Harris wins? You know what I'm gonna do when Kamala Harris wins? I'm gonna get pregnant and then have like 50 abortions.
Oh my God.
I'm done with you. I'm done with you and your mother and your sister. I'm just done with all of this.
It is not late for Kamala. Yet all of you celebrating a Trump victory before the votes were even fully counted. May I remind you that a lot can change at the last minute. And even if we do fail to win the presidency for Kamala, after all the work I've done for white dudes for Kamala over the last few months, we will return in 2028. Kamala 2028 will be the greatest political comeback the world has ever seen. Not just America, but the world. And I firmly believe that Kamala is still the best person in the whole of the United States to be the president of this country. And if we band together now, if we pull back some of those white dudes who went for Trump this time, by calling the White Things for Harris campaign, we can make a permanent change. We can put the MAGA crowd away once and for all. I understand what has happened, but we can't just give up. We can't just stop now. It's so close. We're so close. There's so much hate in this country. So much hate and misinformation from Elon. And listen, we've got to fight back. We've got to fight back. We're coming back.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. Yeah?
I just voted, and I chose family. And this reign of terror now. I chose family. I chose women. I chose America. I love you. Moving on. I'm moving on. We're moving on. I love all of this. Let's do it.
I'm done crying. My sadness is over. My anger has set in. I am a very petty person, and I am very proud about myself, actually. And so, I'm saying this in the most disrespectful way possible. I don't care if you are my family. I don't care if you're my friend. I don't care if we've been friends our entire lives. You can literally go fuck yourself if you've ever forgotten stuff. If you are so sad about your groceries being expensive, get a better fucking paying job. Do better in life. Get a fucking education. Do something. Because you're fucking stupid. And I hope you go jump off of a fucking bridge.
Hey there, girlies. So from here on out, we don't touch neo-conservative men ever. Or any conservative. Or I don't care if the deal or not. Unless it's necessary, like really necessary, fine. Other than that, no more. Come on, you didn't need that anyways. Ew, come on, you better than that. You're all better than that. Alright, have a good day.
I'm a man too, you know. I go standing up.
Because what we see is so hard to see that we lose faith or a vision of those things we cannot see for ourselves. You voted for Donald Trump. I will never not know that about you. And that's something we'll both have to live with.
We don't care.
We don't care.
I will be leaving the country and my dad will be staying blocked after this election. See? Never. Fuck this.
Bye, bitch.
So, Frank, like we're just gonna wake up tomorrow morning and everything's gonna go back to the way it'll be a cycle. It'll be like completely fast-free, and none of this will ever happen, right? Like it'll be like the first time, and then we're all gonna pull through fine in 4 years. Correct? Please? Someone tell me? I can tell you one thing right now, marriage is the farthest thing from on the table currently. So they screwed the pooch on that one if they thought that any of this was gonna actually help with the whole family and kids department and lowering birth rates, because that, no, not even any semblance of thoughts I had or look for that is completely gonna be a no thanks for me, love. Do you think I would ever even dare bring a child into this country now? They was about to go forth. Now? No. That's cute. And the men, don't even get me started about anything. I was still entertaining a few moderates here and there sometimes. No, honey, no. Not even close. That's never goodbye. No, I'm about to say something, and some of y'all are mad at me, but honestly, at this point, I really just don't care. I genuinely hope an asteroid hits the United States of America. I have given up on humanity in this country. I think it'd be better if, honestly, we were just all gone. I think we should just have another, mass extinction. I think that would really solve everybody's problems. Because I just get it done. I don't know. Some people just can't go back
Hey, she didn't win. Congratulations on that part. But you do understand that with no abortion rights, you got to beat the pappy. So, you know what? If this is what y'all wanted, I'm happy for you, America. I'm happy that y'all got the results that y'all wanted since he won the way he won. I'm happy y'all got what y'all wanted. But I am leaving. And like I said, go after you can leave. And baby, you ain't got to worry about me. You ain't got to worry about me.
I was walking down the street to go get my medication because I need it for today. And I saw a woman walking into the kids. And she had this look on her face. And I looked at her and saw contact. They both kind of nodded. Like we were both. And you could just tell in her eyes. All you men, and yes, it's primarily men, who have been commenting on my election posts and my Kamala posts are really just embarrassing yourself. And going back one further, that Kamala was a far better candidate than Trump. And Trump shouldn't actually have been allowed to be in the election. He should have been in a white private room a long time ago. I'm the person who decided to vote for him. Also, your God or your Jesus doesn't fucking love you the way that you think they do.
No, it's okay. You can laugh over my liberal tears if you want to. How many family members and friends and loved ones have you lost because of your hate that you were spewing in the comments? There is very real concern. I am disabled. I have reproductive health issues. You laugh because you feel like it doesn't affect you, but then you look around and you realize your shit has gotten smaller. You said you didn't want woke. You know what? Yeah, that woke is my life. You don't know my life. Good luck. Good luck. Watch the people around you dwindle.
Okay, so since Trump won the election, we're cooked, yeah. I'm gonna be leaving the U.S. and I'm gonna be moving to Hawaii. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll update you guys.
You need to get to go. I need to be able to get. I need to do the work and get home.
So the election between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris has not been called yet. We do not know who the winner is, but it is pointing in one direction. And it's not final, but I just wanted to say that America failed women tonight. Primarily, Trump has insulted women, paraded them, has been found liable in court for assaulting a woman, and he took women's reproductive rights away. And instead of standing up to that, people voted for it. And we failed our daughters, our mothers, our sisters, our wives tonight. America failed them. We failed them. It is unfortunately the reality of the situation. So I'm sorry to everybody out there who's being impacted by what may come.
I am so confused right now. The amount of words that are coming up on my face talking about Trump has been elected president. We don't have any rights anymore. My grandma has more rights than I do. What the heck are you talking about? What? I can buy a car. I can buy a home.
The world is like a ride in an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round, and has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, because this is just a ride.
He was the type of guy that you watch him as a comedian and you kind of feel bad. You kind of go, I really should be doing more of this kind of thing. I really should be telling the truth more often.
Because I greased my hair and I'm a little dark colored. That's who I am.
Bill had a lack of concern. He wasn't concerned with the audience thought, who would praise him. He wasn't concerned with how it would affect his business. He just said what he wanted to say.
I said to him, you're just that far from being a preacher. And he said, I am a preacher.
My voice was not heard. The questions were not asked. He's really an ass-kicking comedian, the best kind, the only kind that matters. No jokes mean. The jokes are meant to kill.
How many non-smokers are here tonight? Non-smokers. By round of applause. Let's hear non-smokers. Good. New York, I love letting you come drunk on another street. God, I hate those guys, man. Very idea they want me to just give them Leech. Get a job. My dad works 8 hours a day for this quarter. I'm being the nerd. Many good artists listen, have an inner voice, and for whatever reason, some people can hear their inner voice and others can't. And I think his was one of questioning what was going on around him, from religion to politics to sexuality, drug use, evolution. He was just a very engaged person who felt compelled to make comedic assessments out of all these complex issues, and was clearly gifted at it, and challenged not only his audiences, but I think other comedians.
It's time that we stop people take a stand and tell our kids, no!
Christians wear crosses around their necks. You think when Jesus comes back, he ever wants to see a fucking cross? Jackie Onez has a little sniper rifle pendant, I think Jackie would think.
Shocking testimony in the Laken Riley murder trial, revealing that the illegal immigrant charged with her murder landed in Georgia, listen to this, thanks to a taxpayer-funded flight. That's your money. It was from the Biden administration, and he got this free flight and went down to Georgia. Now, the flight occurred fewer than 6 months before Ibarra allegedly hunted down and killed 22-year-old Laken Riley. And yet, despite the Biden administration's failed policies to keep our border and loved ones safe, Democrats are vowing to fight President-elect Trump's border crackdown. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kaylee McEnany, here with my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Emily Campagno. Also joining us, Kara Frederick, director of the Tech Policy Center at the Heritage Foundation, and Charles Payne, host of Making Money on Fox Business. We began with Ibarra's roommate, testifying that Jose Ibarra was given a free ride to a fancy New York hotel in Georgia,
on a Biden administration-sponsored flight. He was at the Roosevelt Hotel, then takes a flight from New York to Georgia, and he allegedly kills Laken Riley.
And how did you get to Athens?
¿Y cómo llegaron a Athens?
En Nueva York pedimos en Manhattan,
En New York,
en el Hotel Roosevelt.
and Hotel Roosevelt.
En Manhattan pedimos un vuelo humanitario aquí a
In Manhattan, we requested for a humanitarian flight to come here to Atlanta.
A humanitarian flight. Isn't that nice? Well, once in Georgia, prosecutors say he, quote, went hunting for females and allegedly murdered Laken Riley. Now, stories like hers are the driving force behind President-elect Trump's mass deportation plan, but Democrats are vowing to resist it, to fight it, and are apparently more concerned about protecting illegal immigrants than your daughters, your sons, your families.
We will not be participating in misguided efforts that harm our communities, and I've been incredibly clear about that.
If the Trump administration requests it, will the Massachusetts State Police assist in mass deportations?
No, absolutely not.
The president-elect, former President Trump, his threat is not just towards new arrivals and undocumented families. We're going to stand, we're going to protect undocumented individuals.
When people talk, especially elected officials, about the issue of undocumented Americans, one thing that we can say is we agree. Being undocumented is a problem. But our solution, instead of turning military and our own people, is to document them. To document the undocumented.
What we can do is make sure that we are doing our part to protect our residents in every possible way, that we are not cooperating with those efforts that actually threaten the safety of everyone by causing widespread fear and having large-scale economic impact.
So the mayor of Boston knows Miss Lee wants to protect residents. Oh wait, well, residents, citizens like Laken Riley were not protected down in Georgia. Emily, fancy flights is what our taxpayer dollars went to. Fancy hotels, our taxpayer dollars went to. Laken Riley's family is a tax-paying family. Their taxpayer dollars went to enabling the murder of their daughter. I know that sounds harsh, but these are taxpayer dollars that enable the murder. Our taxpayer dollars. The government has no income other than our taxpayer dollars. And the reality is that, much like forensic accounting and other crimes and other litigation, you can absolutely trace, just like we trace ghost hunts, just like we trace everything ultimately from the seed of fraud, from the seed of crime, from the seed of someone saying, nothing to see here. It is traceable. And the butterfly effect is real. And frankly, one life matters just as much as hundreds of thousands and millions. And so the fact that the mainstream media has been complicit in covering this up, I have on my phone a collection in preparation for this show of notes where NBC called it unfounded lies. The ACLU said lie after lie after lie. The verbs used about President-elect Trump talking about the porous southern border and the impact then, the direct impact on crimes and drugs on our communities and individuals like Laken Riley, the rampant crime has been brushed aside, downplayed, and called outright lies for now 4 years. And this is why the American people stood up and said no more, because they saw with their own eyes the rampant crime in their communities, the ghost flights, the other flights, the lies by the Biden administration of where our taxpayer dollars go. And now the collateral damage is unretrievable, because the collateral damage is lives like Laken Riley, who had to fight for her life for 18 minutes. 18 minutes is what we know from the watch she was wearing. You know, Harris, I want to pull up a picture of AOC. You will remember this well. Her at the border. She's dressed in all white. She's crying, tears. This was during the Trump era. You know, where are her tears for Laken Riley? Where is the gusto from President Biden to call Laken Riley's family?
You have to confront people to get the answers, and she's an elected official, so the press coming to her shouldn't be a problem. I would say this. We had another California mayor on today, Will O'Neill, who's in Newport Beach, and he was talking about people who they catch on boats, and he's always so relieved that they catch them out on the water, because if they make it to California, the California laws protect them more than they do the U.S. citizens. That's what he said. He said they're given protection from anybody being able to deport them or even know anything about them. He said No way to vet them. People have forgotten even Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, was attacked by someone who was in the country illegally. I mean, he had a lot to say last hour. I respect what the American people said loud and clear. And they were answering back to an offer by then candidate Donald Trump. Back in January, he was saying it. He's going to use the Illegal Aliens Act of 1798 to get rid of people in this country expeditiously. You can look at the litmus test that everybody had to pass under Obama, and that was if you committed another crime coming into this country after breaking in illegally, he would deport you, and he did. Got the nickname Deporter-in-Chief. Trump's going to keep the promise that he made to American people, and people are expecting him to do that, and even some Democratic mayors would like for him to get with it.
So, speaking of that Democratic mayor, in this case of Boston, Mayor Lou, Charles, and then you have the governor of Massachusetts there, Governor Healy, and they're all saying we're going to buck the Trump administration. Let's pull up this ICE.gov headline. This is under the tenure of Biden, by the way. This is Biden's ICE. PRO Boston arrests Colombian citizen charged with sex crimes against child. The next line of that is local jurisdiction refused to allow immigration detainer and released non-citizen back into the community. This is in their community, and they can't find it within themselves to say, let's get the criminals out.
Almost every one of those sound bites, you heard them saying, all these elected officials, we're going to protect our citizens. Someone who broke into this country illegally is not your citizen. Right? They committed a crime to get here. Listen, I understand why anybody in the world would want to live in America. But we have rules to get into this country, and when I see these kind of attacks, to a degree, we have to say these elected officials are aiding and abetting. And I mean, they have aided and abetted these crimes. These are wicked crimes. They're part of it. They've allowed it to happen. They've encouraged it to happen. They put up this sign saying, welcome, if you get to the country and it's my city or my state, I'll protect you. I mean, they are culpable. As culpable as like someone robbing a bank in a getaway driver. They're as culpable as that person. And you know, you think about some of the things that they do and use to try to say, hey, this is okay. There was a report that circulated this year about how illegals in this country commit 2 crimes. But if you look at the report and you took out folks who came here from Asia on college visas out of the picture, the number swelled. I mean, you know, and we know where the criminals are coming from. We know who the Boston will send trouble. We have a mandate.
You don't want 100 carat, we'll send 2. I love it. I love this man. I want everyone to know he's got heritage in his bio. It's wonderful. And the point is, these Democrats who are saying we're not going to pay attention to this, they're subverting the will of the American people. I mean, we know that Trump has been given a mandate to do this, and yes, I'll say it. Mass deportations. That's what people voted for. People voted for the army, and they voted for the immigration issues. And it just lays bare the bankruptcy of the Biden-Harris administration's policies. They're not working. This is a humanitarian crisis. We know that the Biden administration has lost track of tens of thousands of migrant children.
100,000.
Yes, a national security crisis. Crisis for women and girls, as we've seen. So get Tom Homan in there to clean up. He's going to be the border czar, and he's actually going to claim it because he's going to take responsibility.
And he's going to do a hell of a job.
100,000 is what they admit.
Right.
What I admit, right. Tom Homan, Stephen Miller, they are going to get the job done. All right. Finland and Sweden are now telling their citizens how to get ready for nuclear Armageddon. As Biden is accused of Ukraine, Fox News can confirm that Ukrainian forces have struck Russia using long-range U.S.-made missiles. President Biden approved their use just days ago. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin is approving a revised nuclear doctrine that lowers the threshold for nuclear assault. Meanwhile, our NATO allies, Finland and Sweden, are now telling citizens to prepare for war. Sweden, out with this new video, informing residents on how to stockpile food, baby food, medication, and how to seek shelter during a nuclear attack. Sweden also sent out more than 5 million of these pamphlets there on your screen, and posted on its website, both urging citizens to prepare for the possibility of war and how to prepare for such. Hiking developments. What do you say about this specific response by Finland and Sweden?
Well, I think it's going to further further impress upon them the need to really take control of their own security situation. As we know, the United States has been providing that security blanket for a lot of these NATO countries for so long. This is a wake-up call. And, you don't want to be alarmist, but whenever Putin says something that references nuclear powers, and those attack zones, they're U.S. supply. So I think that is something to consider. So we need to think very seriously. Not saying it's World War III, but NATO does need to start taking more responsibility for its own situation. Trump he's articulated that, and so far it looks like they're going to. So this is probably the first step in that direction in a very tactical way. Investing in those the increased percentages of what we really need to have a geopolitical situation that is better for the United States, frankly, and better for Europe. I think they're going to start doing that. I don't want this escalation. New National Security Advisor incoming said it best when this is an escalation ladder. We don't know where it leads. I think that's very correct. But I also think that we have an opportunity with Trump and his new team to come in and right the ship. And I believe that we'll do that. We want this axis to grow, North Korea, Iran, China. But I think with Trump going to be in office January 20th, we are going to be in a better situation than we actually are right now. God bless.
So, this is the escalation ladder. I mean, the top rung is telling your citizens to prepare for nuclear war. And not since the Cold War has that been sort of accepted as practice. And it's been an incredibly frightened state of hysteria that the country was in. And that's where Finland and Sweden are now.
That's where they are now. It's sort of Sunday morning quarterbacking, but we just did. The Biden administration mishandled this from the beginning, right? I mean, they had over a year of knowledge that the invasion was going to happen. Did absolutely nothing. Did nothing to deter Russia. Zero. They made a series of clumsy moves. Economically, they took Russia off the system. Now we have economically that's happening. In the meantime, we gave Russia the weapons they needed too late, and this is a move of desperation right now. This is a move of desperation, and that's when things actually get out of control, when they become desperate. And we're in a dual race right now before this becomes something where America is actively involved in, and another world war, or somehow some sort of an armistice or a treaty is met. But right now, it's an equal race, in my opinion. And Trump can't get in there soon enough. Now, here's the good news. Russia, their reserves have gone down dramatically recently. Germany finally said we won't take their natural gas. How the hell would they buy natural gas from Russia in the first place? So a lot of things are going against Russia right now, but it's escalating. And you mentioned the evil access or the new access of evil. I read somewhere potentially 100,000 North Korean soldiers being involved. So it's got to be nipped in the butt, or it's going to be out of everyone's control soon.
So, posturing, if we talk about the posturing of Putin and the mission creep we talked about yesterday, the North Koreans, but the reality is Finland and Sweden are telling their citizens now to prepare for nuclear war, and that seems incredibly hyperbolic. Or is reality truly there, right over a fine line? Is that where we really are? It is where we are.
Yes, ma'am.
Biden has made a mess of the world. He is like the child in the candy store that cannot stop eating things. When you look back, Obama warned Trump about North Korea in their Oval Office meeting. Well, what happened with North Korea? Trump made relations better. They stopped firing missiles after he met with North Korea. Then you had Biden lecturing him on the Ukraine war. Meanwhile, Russia says, we're ready to talk. So now Biden is trying to get long-range missiles into Russia when they indicate to the incoming administration they are ready to talk and wrap up this war still. I mean, the Taliban wants a new chapter. Hamas wants an end to the war immediately. China wants peaceful coexistence. That's because the peace through strength guy, Donald Trump, is coming back. He just started receiving intel briefings according to the Washington Post. He got his first...
that she had firsthand experience. When a dictator tells you what he's going to do, he's going to do it. And so now we have poked the bear. 62 days until Inauguration Day. Biden decides to do what he could have done 999 days ago when he started. And remember, I'm not going to say that his words caused Russia to invade Ukraine Let's just say they didn't help. Minor encouragement. This is a man who said that in the face of a dictator saying what he was going to do. And now in the face of a dictator saying, if you land a missile in Russia and it's got a U.S. marking on it, that's an act of war. Who doesn't believe him? Now, I know that things have gotten you're absolutely right about that, Charles. But we don't know the input capacity of North Korea. They're not martyrs necessarily, but for a government to get away from that level of communism and distrust and abuse of its citizens, maybe they would get enough to the fight with some hope of getting freedom one day. You don't know what their impulse is. There certainly are reportedly a number of them on the ground inside of Russia now. So they're hitting today for the first time with Biden doing what was critical to help Ukraine 2.73 years ago. And remember, Finland and Sweden have a reason to worry. So do we, by the way. When one attack equals all of us attacked, right. Article 5, that enshrines us as a collective. We have to fight. This is too much. Biden has always been too much and too little too late. It's an odd, dangerous combination.
Well, remember, he promised us in 2020 that the adult was coming back in the Oval Office, and clearly the adult is returning January 20th. And we hope that this Ukraine situation doesn't turn into Afghanistan, which is horrifying. All right, coming up, Pennsylvania Democrats are being accused of opposing democracy and trying to overturn an election as they against another defeat in the state's Senate.
Democrats don't like it. So the state Supreme Court there already has ordered counties to stop counting all of these ballots that were disqualified. They're undated, they're misdated, mail-in ballots. And now they did it for a second time because of recount going on. Democrats are openly admitting they don't care about the law. They don't care about their state Supreme Court. They're going to count illegal ballots anyway because they need the numbers. Well, watch as they try to defend it.
I'm not going to second that, mostly because I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So, for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it. And there's nothing more important than counting votes.
The New York Post editorial board claims Pennsylvania Democrats are openly opposing democracy. Well, you saw that commissioner. She doesn't care. She's like a honey badger commissioner. Democratic officials in Pennsylvania are finally saying it out loud. Election denial is an unconscionable existential threat to democracy. Unless a Republican wins, in which case it's fine to ignore the law and overturn it. Emily, this makes me really over it, but she really does annoy me just flouting it like this. And nobody even, the other commissioners don't even correct her. But they can identify with flags and hats and T-shirts because they call them things like deplorable and garbage and Nazis, and that was the VP candidate, Tim Walz. You know, everybody at MSG for Trump, those were Nazis and so on and so forth. So what do they call their own people when they don't agree? Because some of those Democrats voted for Trump.
A lot of them did, yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. You know, we know what they think of Republicans. What do they think of self-interest and independent Democrats?
Misguided, dumb, fool, you know, suckered, whatever, or misogynist, you know, whatever. They've got a whole checklist of names, but they are calling them names. There's no doubt about that. They're not calling them fellow citizens or people who had the ability to just make up their own minds based on evidence and their own life's experiences. You know, it's just, I'm just not shocked. I think the shocking thing is that I'm not shocked about this, that the hypocrisy that we heard throughout the entire campaign, that I knew would be the exact opposite, that I knew that these folks are deflecting, and that push come to shove, they would be acting the way that they said Donald Trump would act if he lost, that they would be pulling stunts that they said never existed. These sort of things, we know they exist, we know they've existed for a long time, and for a long time, a lot of Americans had to take a lot of heat for being able to say, hey, something didn't seem right. Just using your cognitive abilities, but we're seeing it firsthand, and I'm not shocked, and that's really sad.
Yeah, I mean, those names, they have to be calling those Democrat voters who helped that 17,000 vote spread between Bob Casey, the long-term incumbent Democrat in Pennsylvania, and Dave McCormick. I mean, they hate their own people, their own voters, because they're willing to flout the law, to crush the will of the people.
Yes, they are. I mean, serious question here. How many court rulings does it take for Democrats to obey the law? So far, we have 2. We will see what they do. We could get another statement like the one. We're ready to flop. Well, we don't know what this lady or these individuals in Bucks County and the 3 other counties are going to do. They have been told categorically for a second time, you shall comply. It took 12 lawsuits from the RNC and Republicans to get this done. I thought you cared about courts. I thought you cared about the rule of law. I thought you cared about democracy. How many times have we heard that? I thought you cared about the integrity of the vote count. But when push comes to shove, you apparently don't. What would have happened? Governor Shapiro.
Yeah.
But do you think Shapiro would have chimed in earlier if Bob Casey had won and this was Republicans? No. Would the county commissioners have done this if Bob Casey had won? Of course they would not. But now we will see what they will do. We will see. Took 12 lawsuits and 2 court rulings.
So, all fantastic points about what people have said and what Republicans have done, but Governor Josh Shapiro hasn't done anything. I mean, he actually has the ability to do more than what he's doing.
Yeah, and people came out of this election season, and I think a lot of people had respect for him. And so he sort of
Everybody but Kamala Harris.
Well, exactly. And it could have been the nail in the coffin for her. That's been reported over and over again about why didn't she choose this man? So he had capital that I think he wasted, and he's continuing to waste right now. So I think he came out with an anemic statement, right? But the thing, I've said this on this couch before, and I think it bears repeating. Forgive me for the indulgence of me. But when it comes to the left, they're all about projection. So they're always doing the thing that they accuse the right of doing. That's why over and over again, democracy, integrity of our votes. Well, that commissioner, you know what? I can tell you something that's more important than counting every vote. Counting every legal vote. That's the whole idea. That is the inherent to rule of law that defines this country as distinctly American.
Yeah, so why count the disqualified ones? They're not even that many of them.
Because they want to win. It's the whole ethos that we saw in COVID. It's rules for thee, but not for me. Right? So if it can help them, they're all about power and projection. That is the name of the game of the left. So they're going to do that. If you want to question what the left is going to do, they're going to do what gives them power, and they're going to project. That's all you need to know, guys.
Well, that's why Pennsylvania chose Republicans. Okay, we'll move on.
Never say.
Her 10-year-old son walked less than a mile away from home. She was arrested and is now facing jail time. We'll get Vegas family. Well, she charged her that way.
I will note that in the police report, which it's now freezing on my computer, but the police report is fascinating. And this is my take. This is my non-attorney take. This is my Emily take. That it drips with disdain of someone who is recounting a conversation with a mother who said, I was late for a chiropractic appointment with my other child. This child wouldn't get in the car. He knew we were to leave. He often leaves the house alone and plays in the woods. And essentially, he's fine. He's going to be fine. And I had to take care of my other kid. And she goes and she does the best she can. And then she gets this cop that says, well, this is what's happening and this is what's happening. And in the police report, too, it details how another woman who saw the kid walking was, are you okay? Are you okay? And then it details how the child started to get nervous and upset. And maybe so, because he was being questioned by a lot of people and was like, what's going on? And essentially it dwindled down to the mom making that decision, which I'm not a mom at this moment, but I think millions of moms out there have had to make decisions at the spur of the moment. And this is the repercussion. And then the cops failed to outline with specificity why they're arresting her. I see a lot of failures here. And the biggest failure is the failure of compassion and a community that seems to scarlet letter this young woman who made the decision the best she can as a mom with a child that perhaps is a little, has some challenges in obeying what she's saying at that time.
Kelly.
Yeah, look, I don't believe in criminalizing parents. Kamala Harris tried that when she was Attorney General. She, in fact, pursued truancy. She said, I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy, and she did that to Cherie Peoples, a great mom, a nice mom, who unfortunately was arrested in front of her children. So similar situation as this, at least in the arrest. I don't believe in that. But here's the thing I will say. We live in a different time period. Kids are in danger, 11-year-old kids, if they are walking alone by a highway. The mom said it's not a super dangerous or even dangerous at all stretch of the road. I was not terrified for him or scared for his safety. That was her feeling. Now, what I will say is they're saying they will drop the charges from what I read if she just signs a simple form saying that she will be a watchful parent. She doesn't want to sign that form. I don't know what's in that form. I haven't read it, but it seems like an easy way to move beyond this. She shouldn't have been arrested, but I just don't think we should have 11-year-olds walking alone on highways.
Yeah, you know, when you you say it's a different day, look at all the cases that we've covered recently, and it may be girls and boys, it doesn't matter. Jocelyn Nungary was 12. I mean, we got a lot going on in the world. And at the same time, I also understand that a mom figures she knows her neighborhood. And she's making a decision for her child. I think people have bifurcated on it. Where are you?
Yeah, it's mixed because I grew up as a latchkey kid. My mom and my father, my mother, they separated. We came up here. We came from a beautiful, we lived on army bases. It was always beautiful. And we moved to Harlem at the time, the most dangerous, poorest neighborhood in America. And my mother had 3 boys, right? So from 10, 12, 13.
Mm-hmm.
And she had no choice but to let us go out. And we had to take the train by ourselves. We had to go to school by ourselves. We had to do a lot of things by ourselves in the most dangerous neighborhood in America at that time. So, and she had to go to work. So
you guys stick together?
Well, we went to different schools. I mean, we tried to stick together as often as possible, but we were alone out there a lot. And that was the way it had to be. There was no alternative. I feel like this woman maybe did not have an alternative. Now, having said that, I mean, my son, I don't want to embarrass him, but I never saw him walking across the street until he was like 13 years old. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, come here, Charles, don't go across the street yet, you know? We're both sharing the same shaver, right? I'm like,
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
He's like, 19 years old, let me hold your hand so I can get you across the street. So it rips me apart because I know from real life what real life is, and I know how I I was afraid, and I've always been worried about my own son too at a much older age.
Now, see, I think that's why people are on such different sides of this issue, right? And we don't know the total conversation. Emily pointed this out. We didn't get to hear the whole conversation that the mom was trying to have with law officials. I would imagine that when they took her in to wherever they took her, to the police department or wherever, the conversation continued. But getting the context of what was going on from that police report, that's also really important.
The fact that she was so flustered, I mean, I can relate. We got the messy mom bun. I was like, that is me, 100%. So I think the context is very important. And it's funny, before you started talking, Kaylee, I came in of one mind, and I was like, we need to disappear into the woods as children to have our imagination stoked.
I used to love it.
We were on marine bases, we were in the desert, and
we all have common military bases, so our upbringing is different.
It was different, and that's what I mean, is Kaylee, and the first story that we talked about, the immigration story, the public safety story, it is a different world. Luckily, we do have some technologies that can help us have better custody of our children. So, Kaylee, I think you won this one.
Like Avery Gilmartin won't be walked alone until she's like 36.
Oh my God, the kids are shaving already and everything. I mean, I would say this just about young kids and being honest about what's in the world, if you can have that conversation. And if they're leaving your house, they ought to be old enough to understand what you're trying to protect them from. Emily, you look like you have a dangling thought.
Well, we covered a case where an autistic child who, despite the parents' best attempts at keeping the doors locked safely and the like, would escape. And the police had to be involved, and there was a whole element there. And my question is, what's the difference here? Is it a diagnosis? What if this is an undiagnosed child? My point is, there are situations and circumstances beyond the control and the objective analysis where parents doing the best that they can should not be wielded. The weapon of the state should not be wielded in front of them. The reason she doesn't want to sign that thing is she says, I've done nothing wrong.
Right, exactly. And then what does that commit her to?
Yeah.
Then they can pick her up on a moment's notice. There's a lot to this. Okay, former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the issue of transgender athletes in sports has been
doing protection. Whistleblower Tara Rodas will join us live. Plus, former General Jack Keane joins us live to answer a key question. What's behind the Biden administration's decision to provide long-range missiles to Ukraine? Why now? And we are just moments away from the State Department briefing. Will they comment on the U.S. position in the Ukraine-Russia conflict? We'll be listening. Come join John Robertson live as America Reports, top of the hour.
Democrats have been doing a lot of soul searching since the election, but former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the party should double down on the transgender agenda, and concerns surrounding biological men playing in women's sports, not really a big deal.
Another section that the issues of trans kids playing sports was dominating schools across the country, which is completely false. So this is a good time for Democrats to self-reflect about what went wrong and what to do better moving forward. Of course, it absolutely is. But during that process, it's important not to yield to manufactured panic and
making sweeping claims. Echoing and adopting the panic from the other side is not leading. It's not meeting people where they are. It's simply falling prey to right-wing propaganda without checking the facts first. Facts are the second line of the statement. Let's fact check Jen. Let's introduce Peyton McNabb. This headline from the Daily Mail. Female volleyball player 17 left paralyzed with brain damage by transgender opponent who cackled with delight after knocking her to the ground. I don't think we played this part of Saki's statement, but she said this isn't an issue. Peyton McNabb will just throw out her description of her injuries. It included partial paralysis.
People don't talk about this. So look at me. I'm a pipsqueak. You know, I'm maybe 5 feet tall at best. I played D1 soccer at the University of Virginia.
Yeah, you did.
I would not have stood a chance if someone who went through male puberty got on the field with me. Are you kidding me? I would be looping off the field, broken leg, everything. So we don't talk about this, and we don't talk enough about the sacrifice that these young girls make. I mean, from elementary school to middle school to high school. I missed my high school graduation because I was playing in the All-America game, and the moms that take them to soccer practice, that buy their Capri Sun for those halftime snacks. Think of how heartbreaking it is if a girl's dream is crushed by
Pause the case to allow Trump to seek a dismissal. The president-elect was convicted in May, as you know, of falsifying business records related to payments for adult film actress Stormy Daniels in 2016. You know, as we talk about this, Emily, and we talk about Stormy Daniels, I was reading today that there was a
Xin chào tất cả các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn mắc một chiếc lót ly hình chú lợn như thế này. Nguyên liệu cần chuẩn bị gồm có sợi màu hồng đậm dùng để móc phần mũi và hai tai, sợi màu hồng nhạt hơn sử dụng để móc phần mặt và làm phần lót ly. Tiếp theo đó là kim cô len và sợi màu đen để thêu thêm phần mắt. Mình sử dụng thêm kim cô len, tiếp tục sử dụng sợi màu hồng làm phần mặt để thêu hai lỗ mũi. Kem nến sử dụng để gắn mũi và tai và phần đầu. Mình sẽ sử dụng sợi có kích thước là 1.5mm và kim móc có kích thước là 2mm. Nếu các bạn yêu thích video, hãy nhớ nhấn vào nút đăng ký kênh, like, share video để ủng hộ mình.
What's going on YouTube? I am back. We know the birds out there these days are crazy, checking out some of their stupid antics, having a laugh at their behaviour. But as I always say first up, if you want to help me out, hit the like button and subscribe button as well, because it's straight on you. But as I always say with these videos, we're not talking about all of them here, just the ones in this particular video. And thankfully that chick there on the screen is also struggling to carry that guy's bags, and that's the way you do it. There's no way in hell this guy must have been with her, okay? I feel bad for the guy. You can tell the look on his face, he's just like, get me the hell out. I'd rather die first. Give me the slide up to finish me off right now. I'm done. He's thinking, God, I can't do this. Just send the lightning bolt directly into my groin and then into my head, just finish me off like that. That would be a better situation than having to do whatever with this one here. But, you know, you make your bed, you got to sleep in it. There's no free trips to the west. You got to put it at work. But let's move on to this one.
My dad makes more than 6 figures, and my brother makes more than 6 figures. So, no, this is what I'm saying. I want somebody who is more than 6 figures, maybe more than 5 mil, 10 mil. Yeah.
Wait, 5 mil a year?
Yeah, 5 mil a year is the basic minimum.
Hold on, wait. 5 mil a year is the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So 4 mil.
You don't cut it, bro.
So, okay, 5 mil a year. Really? It's a bit of a stretch, considering that this person looks like this.
He's the most beautiful girl
goddamn growler and thinking she was at 5 mil? 5 mil. Get the hell out of my face, you stupid idiot. He deserves someone making about $5. Right, $5 a year. And that's what it's been good for you. Like, what is this? Why is a woman with this type of physique posing for anything? I mean, if she was posing for a cop, that might make more sense. Who are you? Well, I don't want to see. I'm making this video. I don't want to see that. I know you don't want to see it. So who is she filming this for? Well, is there some desperate guy out there who's thinking, this is what I want to see? Right? They want to see this. There's some guy out there that wants to see this. Really? Come on. They can't. I don't even think someone who's been living in a cave, who is also like mentally retarded, and hasn't been a woman in almost 50 years, I don't even think they'd be enticed by this individual here, right? They'd be like, what is this? Is this a new species? No! That's just how far women suck. And you can see the colour of those hands there. They're not Caucasian, not Asian, not Latino, not Hispanic, not even genuine African. I mean, what would cause someone, apart from racism, blatant racism, what would cause someone to do this to a child? You'd have to be low-life scum, which I'm sure this person is based on their actions, no doubt about it. That's why I keep saying, get these women back on the news. Get them on the SSRIs, get them in the straitjacket, lock them up, put them in the padded cell so we can forget about it.
Hey, so for the next 30 days, I'm not planning on no dates, which means that even if somebody invites me to their house or I don't agree with the date that they set up, or I don't like them, I'm still going and I'm just going to rob them. So I want to teach.
What was that? She's going to do what?
They set up, or I don't like them, I'm still going and I'm just going to rob them. So I want to teach y'all for the next 30 days how to find money or find funds to fund the things that you love.
I mean, it's great to see Cardi B be an inspiration for someone. God, isn't it? It's so pathetic. So pathetic. God help us. Can we get rid of all this soy-infested bitchery that's going on? And it's not just applying to women. Men out there acting like this as well. Like, pathetic. What has happened to everyone? Now shut up.
Good evening and welcome to a program devoted entirely to lefties losing it. We have a star-studded lineup for you tonight, from Barbara Streisand to our late-night TV hosts. But let's start lefties with the always clueless, always bitter, always delusional ladies of The View. God bless ABC for keeping this awful program on air. If it wasn't for the hosts of The View, well, I don't know where I get my content from some days. All the hosts are awful, but some are more awful than others. Listen here as one of the less awful hosts tries to say something actually sensible and factual, but Sunny Hostin ain't having it. She just keeps screeching misogyny, sexism.
These different demographics and these assumptions of where they're going to go. Latinos in Texas, a district that's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the border.
It's
the
misogyny.
It's on their doorstep.
So
and they were begging people to care about it for years. So we need to take some lessons.
That's what that was.
Lessons are not.
Who's there? Oh my gosh, it's one.
Let's Hispanics slut-sunning things. It sounds a little bit racist if you ask me. But the meltdowns did not end there. Here she attacks not just Latinos, but America. The whole country is rotten, apparently.
I think the more relevant question actually is what is wrong with America? I think what is wrong with our country? What is wrong with this country that they would choose a message of divisiveness, of xenophobia, of racism, of misogyny over a message of inclusiveness?
Oh yes, so inclusive, so tolerant. Can she even hear herself? But Sunny wasn't done yet. The angry rant continued and it got weirder and weirder.
Children to be shot, it's work to be murdered, it's worker to be exploited, it's protest started, it's cops to murder.
Okay, talking about weird, I'm going to miss this woman, Gwen Walls, the wife of Kamala Harris's VP pick, Tim Walls. She would have been a rich source of material for this segment, but sadly, Harris and Walls were a uniquely terrible, inauthentic, and unelectable team. Here is Gwen, however, rallying the troops after the devastating loss.
I'm not sure you heard me. We cannot and we will not give up this fight. That's right. All right, you can sit down now.
You can sit down now. I'm going to miss you, Gwen, but we're turning the page. We're turning the page.
Bye, Donald Trump.
We'll always have that. That was possibly my favourite lefties losing it moment of the year. She's a little bit terrifying if you ask me. Now let's check in with a couple of late night TV hosts who are not coping well with reality. Let's start with the painfully unfunny hypocrite Jimmy Kimmel, who was brought to tears by democracy, but he started off pretty cocky before the election.
He's a snowflake. What a blowhard. He's a blowhard and a snowflake. He's a blowflake is what he is. He should change the hats to say make America line again. It's more than half of this country voted for the criminal, still trying to figure out what happened.
Oh, no, that's a tad unfair. Let's have a listen to why he's crying. Maybe there is something redeeming or insightful we can learn from this man.
Let's be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go. For healthcare, for our climate, for science, for journalism, for justice, for free speech. It was a terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO, for the truth.
He's totally demented. It was a terrible night for democracy. What democracy was terrible for democracy, a candidate winning in a landslide, winning the Electoral College by the biggest margin we've seen from a Republican in 36 years, winning the popular vote, biggest popular vote ever by a Republican, winning convincingly, including the Senate, every swing state, and that's bad for democracy. You see, the left only values democracy if they win. And during that little emotional diatribe from Kimmel, he talked about women's rights and decency. I'm sorry, but I'm not about to be lectured on decency from this creep.
Tell us what you think of the statue. I mean, do you think that she's attractive or not? Yeah, take another look at it.
It's so obscene that some of that footage and can't show you the whole thing. He's always been gross and frightfully unfunny. And talking about unfunny, let's hear from Stephen Colbert.
All day yesterday, I was walking around proudly wearing my I voted sticker. Today, I wore my I am questioning my fundamental belief in the goodness of humanity sticker. Now, they give those out. This is democracy. That's democracy with a capital duh.
And in this democracy, the majority has spoken, and they said they don't care that much about democracy.
You know, the Republicans should pray to have political opponents that are this dumb, this blind, this deluded, and completely incapable of introspection, so out of touch and insulated in their little echo chambers that they are unlikely to ever work out the obvious reasons why Donald Trump won in a landslide. At least Colbert is honest enough to note that his audience is protected from the truth.
If you watch the show regularly, I'm guessing you're not doing great. Yeah, me neither.
Yep, if you watch trash like that, reality will hit you hard, because you've been fed nothing but leftist lies and hysteria. And a woman who clearly has been on a diet of lies and hysteria and pancakes is Barbara Streisand. Remember the last time Trump was president and she claimed that he was making her fat? That's a real headline. Well, this time she's pledging to flee the country.
How do you feel about the specter of a second Trump administration?
I will move. I can't live in this country if he became president.
Where would you go? Where would you go?
Probably to England.
Mm-hmm.
I like England.
The post-election analysis is underway, and we've talked about Republicans being blessed with some of the dumbest political opponents on God's green earth, and this next lefty is no exception. Here is Vanity Fair and MSNBC's Molly John Fast blaming not just misogyny, but institutional misogyny and sexy images for Kamala's downfall.
He leaned into a lot of the institutionalized misogyny as a way to try to neutralize her effectiveness. So she was a super effective speaker, really galvanized voters in a really important way. And what the Trump campaign did, and I think ultimately they were able to, was they flooded the internet with over-sexualized images of her. They spread lies about her romantic history.
That is so completely divorced from reality. It's unintentionally funny. Did she actually claim that Kamala is a really effective speaker? The word salad queen who can't utter a coherent sentence to save herself? But Molly wasn't done yet. Listen to this bit of bat-poop crazy analysis where she claims that Kamala's own campaign, which was hyper-focused on securing the female vote, was actually anti-women.
And remember, he ran this Rose campaign, right? A campaign that was largely sort of anti-woman in a way.
Look, it's only a matter of time
Alexa,
before Molly joins.
set alarm for 30 minutes.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let's jump right into tonight's news. Despite losing tons of support for being outspoken against Donald Trump, former Vice President Mike Pence is still attempting to sway GOP senators to reject RFK Jr.'s nomination to lead the Department of Health and Human Services due to his past stance on abortion. In a statement on Friday, Mike Pence criticized Trump's decision, saying, "This is an abrupt departure from the pro-life record of our administration and should be deeply concerning to millions of pro-life Americans who have supported the Republican Party and our nominees for decades." While I don't agree with Pence, I think he is onto something. Now, on Kennedy's campaign website, it states he's a firm supporter of the principle laid out 50 years ago in Roe v. Wade, and that if the courts do not overturn Dobbs v. Jackson and restore abortion rights, he will support legislation to accomplish the same. Now, that's when RFK Jr. was running for president. Now he's not doing that. He doesn't have that authority. Now, I'm sure that Donald Trump was aware of this. Even Trump's wife, Melania, has a different position on abortion. Either way, RFK Jr.'s appointment won't magically overturn Roe v. Wade, as the Supreme Court or Congress only has the power to do that. Now, I think overall, RFK Jr. is a great person for the job because he's a centrist, and this doesn't mean, though, that he is going to betray Republicans and suddenly become super pro-abortion and in Donald Trump's face. I think he really wants to go after Big Pharma, and not get involved in the abortion discussion. Now, even though Hollywood is filled with many woke liberals, there are still a few good apples. Actor Sylvester Stallone has publicly congratulated President Donald Trump, drawing a comparison between Trump and George Washington. Sylvester Stallone stated, "This individual does not exist on this planet. Nobody in the world could have pulled off what he pulled off. When George Washington defended his country, he had no idea that he was going to change the world, because without him, you could imagine what the world would look like." He then said, "Donald Trump is the new George Washington of our age." Now, after Trump appointed Representative Matt Gaetz as his Attorney General, there have been calls for the House to release its finding from the investigation they did on Matt Gaetz. Over the past few years, the House investigated Matt Gaetz on allegations ranging from sexual misconduct to bribery. Now, they're accusing him of further sexual conduct, but notice no Democrats or mainstream media are covering the fact that Matt Gaetz and his family were blackmailed for tens of millions of dollars. And he claimed to be innocent of that, and then the court proved him correctly, and that guy ended up in jail, not Matt Gaetz. Now, House Speaker Mike Johnson is calling on the House Ethics Committee to refrain from releasing its investigation into former Representative Matt Gaetz. Johnson stated, "I think it's a terrible breach of protocol and tradition and the spirit of the rule. Now, I'm going to strongly request the Ethics Committee not issue the report, because that is not how we do things in the House, and I think that would be a terrible precedent to set." Johnson believes this info should not be released, as Gaetz is no longer a member of Congress, which means he no longer falls under House jurisdiction rules. Now, I think that Mike Johnson is being naive. Of course it's tradition not to do this. Of course it's the wrong thing to do. Do you think Democrats care? Of course they don't. They're going to go after Matt Gaetz with everything they have. Why? Because their own secrets and their own jobs are on the line. They must wipe Matt Gaetz out. But this is exactly why Donald Trump chose him. He wants somebody that's bold and courageous to take out the garbage in Washington, D.C. Kind of like this shirt, right? It's time to take out the garbage. And that's exactly why Trump wants Matt Gaetz as the Attorney General. Now, podcaster Candace Owens aligned herself closely with House Speaker Mike Johnson regarding Matt Gaetz. Speaking on the situation, Candace Owens remarked, "He absolutely must be confirmed, and they're freaking out. He's going to have access to the file when we were investigating him, and by the way, we didn't find anything. This is an insane pick. Why on earth would they allow him in? Yeah, because you realize that he is someone who you're not going to be able to flip into one of your allies because you attempted to ruin his life and to ruin his reputation. And this is exactly the kind of pick that we need. I need someone who has a chip on their shoulder about the Department of Justice." Now, what do you think about what Candace Owens said there? So basically, the Department of Justice has been weaponized not only against Matt Gaetz on 2 different investigations, but also on Donald Trump. And she's saying, listen, we need some reason that Donald Trump wants Matt Gaetz is that he has the courage to expose everything. And this is exactly why they will do anything they can to block him. And even Mitch McConnell is now saying that they're not going to put Matt Gaetz in as Attorney General, and that Mitch McConnell, as long as he's in leadership, isn't going to do recess appointments. So what do you guys think about that? I mean, Senator Mitch McConnell is supposed to do what Republicans want. Over 71 million Americans said, we want Donald John Trump to be president. And now this pipsqueak from Kentucky is going to stand in the way of Donald Trump, MAGA, and the American people? I don't think so, Mitch McConnell. This is going to go through.
Now, my guess is, and let me know in the comments if you agree, Mitch McConnell has secrets that he is likely hiding. Almost 40 years in leadership, and you're telling me that this guy doesn't have secrets? Give me a break. There is a reason that he personally doesn't want Matt Gaetz. Otherwise, why not? Why not do what Republicans want? You're supposed to be the leader of the Republicans in the Senate, for heaven's sakes. Now, again, Candace Owens is saying he has the courage, he has the motivation, he has the chip on his shoulder, and he has the permission of Trump to go after the Washington, D.C. swamp. Now, again, I want to know what you think. Should the House release its finding against Gaetz, or should they keep that close to the vest? My guess is they're going to release this, and then he's going to get in, and he's going to be even more pissed off, and it's going to backfire on these people. Now, from everything I've read so far, this was a character assassination plot against Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida. Here's what happened. They leaked this story of him having sexual misconduct anonymously to the press. Now think about this. Nobody has come forward. So this anonymous person leaks this story, and then they leak it to the New York Times, and then the mainstream media does an assassination hit on Representative Matt Gaetz. But nobody's come forward. In fact, they're not even saying there's a whistleblower, and they're not even talking about whistleblower protection. So you tell me, is this a real story, or is this a character assassination hit against Matt Gaetz? I think it's absolutely an assassination plot against someone who is pro-Trump, pro-MAGA. Now, even Elon Musk responded to Candace Owens' idea by saying, if the U.S. Senate prevents Matt Gaetz from being Attorney General, then we will bring Matt Gaetz into the Department of Government Efficiency. We will then give him the task of auditing the FEC reports of the U.S. senators who opposed him. Checkmate. So Elon Musk is saying, listen, he's going to be picked up as senator in Florida, or he's going to be put at the top of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. Either way, this guy is going into the Trump administration, and the more you piss him off, the more he is going to be a bull in a china shop. He is going to come in like an absolute wrecking ball. Now, this is exactly what they did against Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. They suddenly drudged up some story from 30 years earlier, and then none of the details lined up. They also did this against other people. So this is not a new thing. This is an old strategy of the of the Democrat Party. All right, now I have some other big stories to share, but first, a word from our amazing sponsor. As we age, we are all dealing with more aches and pains. Our hair starts to thin out, our skin develops wrinkles, and looks less youthful. Even our nails become brittle. Now, I want to tell you about this amazing product that helps prevent some of these things from happening. It's Revive from Brightcore Nutrition. Revive helps strengthen bones and joints. The best thing about Revive is that it works from the inside out. It also is going to help you rejuvenate your skin, help your hair grow back thicker and healthier, and strengthen your brittle nails. Now, Revive has 5 types of collagen: hyaluronic acid, biotin, and vitamin C. These ingredients work synergistically to make you feel and look younger than you've been in years. Plus, it tastes amazing. Now, Revive is easy to mix into any beverage. I prefer drinking it with like hot chocolate, but they also have a strawberry lemonade flavor, and that's the one that I have right here. It's absolutely delicious. You're going to love it. Now, this is all natural, non-GMO, and made 100% in the United States of America. So whether you want to reduce aches and pains, revitalize your skin or hair, Revive can do it for you. Today, they have an exclusive offer for my community. Buy 2 bottles of Revive and get 1 bottle absolutely free by clicking the link down below. Or call my friends at Brightcore right now and get 50% off plus free shipping. just call 888-908-4425. It really is delicious, and I love it. In fact, I've been drinking it all day. All right, let's keep going with the news. So, even though Matt Gaetz has been labeled as a disastrous pick by Trump, by Democrats, Representative AOC is arguing that Trump's nomination of Tulsi Gabbard as the Director of National Intelligence is actually worse than Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. During an interview with MSNBC, AOC stated, "I actually think almost more than Matt Gaetz. Tulsi Gabbard's appointment is devastating. And Tulsi Gabbard's nomination, as much as she says that she's anti-war, she's not. She supports very pro-war individuals. And let's be clear, a Tulsi Gabbard nomination is a pro-war nomination globally. Point blank, period." Let me know in the comments, is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez up in the night crazy, or is it just me? Seriously. Like, she says that Tulsi Gabbard, who has been preaching anti-war for years, is a Russian asset and is secretly pro-war. I mean, this is coming from the people that openly brag about having Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney supporting Scamala Harris. You guys, I'm telling you, whatever the Democrats say Republicans are or are doing, it's what they are doing. I mean, they're saying that Tulsi Gabbard is pro-war. That's rich coming from Biden, who just today said that Zelensky has permission to use taxpayer-funded American weapons to attack Moscow, St. Petersburg, and any part of Russia that they want. So no, AOC, Democrats are the party of war. And what you're really scared of is that Tulsi Gabbard is going to dry up the money that is going towards the military-industrial complex. What you're really scared of is that she is going to clean up the CIA, and you won't be able to use them against Donald Trump. That Tulsi Gabbard is going to clean up the FBI, and you can't use them against Donald Trump. So that's what you're really scared of, AOC. And what you're probably really butthurt about is, you know, she used to be your friend, and you wanted her to be a part of the squad, but then one day she realized, wait a minute, none of you ladies in the squad have any real life experience, no business experience, and you don't have any common sense. And so that's why she said, wait a minute, I can't be a Democrat anymore. I've got to get away from these crazy Democrat women. So anyway, you are the crazy one. You are the pro-war one. So I don't know why you're making up these rumors about Tulsi Gabbard. Hey, how about we throw AOC in the garbage can and we take out the garbage? Come on, New York. It's time to get rid of AOC. She's literally done nothing for you. In fact, she cost you 50,000 jobs when Amazon wanted